So I know more and more people are using their iPads and iPhones to download and use Cricut Design Space. So I wanted to do one video that kind of showed you how to do it from all the way from step one, downloading it, then to unzipping it, uploading it, and then prepping it for cutting. So this file encompasses those, so there's going to be links below that you can jump to a certain section. I may not cover everything, and if I don't cover it, it's covered in another video and I will mention that. So let's get started. So when you go through an order and you order on our site and you add things to our cart and you check out, there's no items in there right now. But once you pay, whether it be PayPal or credit card, or free, by the way, the freebies, so either one, it's either going to be free or you do a credit card or a PayPal. So once you go through the checkout process, there'll usually be a link. It'll go to, like, PayPal goes back, you pays for it, and then it comes back and there's a link to it. So it's usually right on your screen, but if you don't feel like downloading it at the time, you usually get an email. So we're going to do it from the email because it'll download similarly. One thing I want to note for Hotmail users, and this is really particular to Hotmail and Outlook, they send all my files, or not all my files. A lot of times the files are sent to the junk mail or spam. I think it's junk mail folder. Anyways, you'll want to check that if you didn't get it. Or just contact us under need help, contact us, and you can send us an email if you have trouble getting your order after you order it. So you can do that. So let's go back. So I have that up, and this is Safari. The important thing here is I'm going to show you from Safari because it's going to be work the best in their standard browser. You can do it from Chrome, but I'm going to show you from Safari, so if you're having trouble, switch to this, but you can download it from Chrome. So we're going to go over here, and this is my email, this email earlier, and I got this, confirmation of order, and then there's a link there. And I'll go ahead and click on this link, and it'll open Safari unless you changed your default browser to a different thing. But Safari would be the best thing to use, so you can manually go and open it too. So at this point, you want to go ahead and log in on the left with your existing username or email address. Most people use your email address and password, and then log in. And you can put remember me if you're going to log in later, but that's an option. So let me go ahead and log in. So once I put my information in, go ahead and log in. And so there's a couple ways you can go find it. The easiest is to click on the left here once you're logged in to downloads. And right here, you'll see the downloads that you ordered. So they may not be in order of when you ordered them. So just be aware of that. So the Flourish box is not there. So realize this is a test account for me. So it's not necessarily the best thing. But if you want to do it by order, click on Orders. And then go ahead and view this order. And there's the Flourish gift box. And that's what it looks like if you don't close the browser before and it comes back. So if for some reason you don't get an email and you didn't get the link when you checked out, all you've got to do is, and I'm just going to close this, is go to my account, view my account. If you're logged in, it'll go right in. If it's not, it's going to look like this. So you just want to log in right there. Oops. Let's go back there. You just want to log in right there, and then the same process of downloading. So we just go ahead and click on this. And it says, do you want to download the Flourish gift box? We're going to say download. So it's going to download to whatever Safari is configured. So if I click on this up here after it downloads, and I can click on that, it'll go right to the Files app. So you have the Files app. So I have it set to have downloads as favorite, but where it's saved is under iCloud Drive, Downloads. And there's a way to configure. That's the default. Okay, so that's the default for iPad. It's either going to be on the iCloud drive or on my iPad under downloads. So those are the two places it will download it to. So you can configure that if you want it on your iPad versus on the iCloud drive. And the way you configure that, so let's go ahead, I'm going to just hit the button to close that. Go to settings. We go over to, scroll down to Safari. Right here, click on that. And you can see, go right here, I'm going to find it. See it says downloads? And if I click on that, it says iCloud drive or on my iPad. So the special note here is that there's also an other. So some people would say, why can't I just download it directly to Dropbox, Google Drive, Documents? Apparently after iOS 13 that stopped working, so it used to work. And I did a lot of research on it and it's just not an option. So the best thing is either iCloud Drive if you have the room, or your iPad, and then if you do have a Dropbox or another online storage location, you can manually move it to that after. So let me click done. So I want to make sure mine's iCloud. I'm just going to come right back out. And we'll go back to files. So the way I put this down here is you just kind of hold one of those down and you can say favorite. So this is to unzip it, so we saved it, but to unzip the file, and you can see I have some unzip files, but this is the Flourish gift box one. If you're in iOS 13 or 14 at this point, because we're up to 14.3 I believe as of this video, all you've got to do, there's one of two things. Geez, I'm going to remove this so I can show you that one too. So you can either click on it and hold it and say uncompress. Oops, I missed it. Or simpler for me, what it's working is I'm just going to do the Flourish gift box. I just click on it once, tap it, and it unzipped it into this folder. So here's the way most of our folders are formatted. We have a PDF file and one or multiple JPEG files to show you what the project looks like. So the PDF file is only for a reference most of the time, unless it's a really old file. So if I don't have a video out there, which is on the product details page, some of the older files have the instructions. If you scroll down, there'll be additional pages with written instructions. So that's that. So you can see there's some sizing in here that tells you what the size of everything is, and it tells you what the pieces are. So click on done. The actual SVG files are in here. So within here, depending on, you can do different views, like an icon. I think that's the default, but I'm not quite sure. But we have, usually in the newer files, these are the two. Let me go ahead and show you. If you click on one, it shows you the dashed versions. Okay, and then this is the same. Anything that has dashes has solid lines. So for Cricut, if you have a maker with the score tool, I think it's the score wheel or the score tool with any of your Cricut devices, you can mark those as score. As they are, we're going to go on to the next section to tell you how to open them up, make sure that those lines are properly prepped to be able to score. Then we come back and we have complete files. So some of the older files do not have the complete file, so if you click on it, there's going to be two versions. Oops. And sometimes it doesn't show everything. So this one's not showing it, the preview. But basically, what they are, and they both don't show the preview. Basically, they're the whole file in one, so you don't have to upload multiple files. But you have to handle those a certain way versus the individual files. So I changed it back into icon mode, and I just wanted to show you a complete file so you can actually see. There's another one, complete file, so you can kind of see that multiple components are in there. And we'll cover that shortly. as we go to the next step of how to upload the files to Design Space. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to exit out of this for now. So once you download and unzip the files, we need to upload them to Design Space. So I'm going to click on Cricut Design Space. Make sure you're logged in. If not, you'll get a login screen. I'm already logged in. So in order to upload, we're going to use the flourish box. We're going to go ahead and click on New Project. And if it says to replace or like that, but you may have something else on your canvas. You may need to save what you already had there before you move on. But I'm going to click on Upload down here. Browse Files. It's because I trashed this, so I just want to make sure I get back here. So I'm going to go back here, and you can see we're back into the files. I just happened to open something else previously. So I go iCloud Drive, Downloads. I'm going to find the folder, not the zip file. You can actually delete those zip files after you're done with them unless you want to save those. And then over here we're going to go, and it gives you the option. Obviously we don't want to do any of these files. We want to go to the SVG files. And I'm going to show you two different methods. So the reason I'm showing you two different methods is that some of the files do not have a complete file. So if they don't have a complete file, you won't see this folder. So we're going to go ahead, let's just assume that wasn't there. If that wasn't there, you'd have to upload these individual pieces. And now's the decision. These ones have dashed lines and these have solid score lines. So I always say use the dashed lines if it's really, it'll cut them. You just still have to attach them. So let's start with that. So some people prefer the scoring them with their score tools, and that's when we would use the solid score line files. So we're going to forget about the complete file for now. We're going to do this. So we're going to choose one, and we're just going to I'm just going to call floor box. It doesn't matter. You could type it out if you want to, but you just need to put something in there. But for sake of time, click Done. I'm going to close that because I want to upload another one. Browse Files. It'll bring us right back to where we were. I'm going to say Floor Box Panel. So this only has two, so it's not as... won't take as much time if you had to do it individually. That's where that complete file comes in handy. So now we have, unfortunately it doesn't, sometimes it doesn't refresh it, so let's go ahead. Close that. I'm going to go Upload, open Uploaded Images, and those are the two we just uploaded. So let's also go ahead and upload the solid score lines so I can show you the difference. So this one, you'll notice both files are not in there. Only the file with score lines is in there, and it's solid, so you can use your score tool or your score wheel. So we're just going to upload them all at once, and then I'll show you once we get in there how we attach, how we need to prep it to cut it. So let's go ahead and close that. Upload. Browse Files. Let's do the complete file. You can see, go back. There's complete files. So one has dashed lines and one has solid lines. This last one. So I'm assuming most people want to do solid lines, but like I said, if it's a really complex 3D box, like this would be fine. You probably wouldn't want to use the score tool unless you know how to make it a little bit deeper. Okay, so now all the files are up there. So now that we have them all uploaded, that was the upload process. So the next we need to do is bring them in so we can cut them, prep them and cut them. So we're going to start with the first one. So we're either going to use the one with the dashed lines or the ones with the solid lines. So we're going to start with the solid lines first with this one. So we need these two files, because if you come back here, under here, and you come back to iCloud Drive, downloads, if you get this PDF file up, it tells you those are the two files we need and the sizes of them. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just highlight that one. So there's a little green highlight around there, and highlight that one, and then lower right hand corner click on insert. So what you'll notice initially, so here you just got one of the glitches. So we have another video that you can watch in detail, but this is going to happen intermittently with my files. And Cricut support has not been able to help me fix this and figure out why it's doing this. So I don't know what's in the SVG file that makes some upload at the correct file size and some that don't. So I do have a workaround, and you can watch the other video, but quickly, here's the quick workaround. You want to click on this, click on edit down there, look at the size, 2.89. Come back in here, and you see where it says Flourish Gift Box SVG? It should be, the width should be 10.325. So really quick, so the detailed video is up. I'll have it referenced in the notes, and you should see it come up on your screen at one point, if not already. So I forgot what the number was. So 10.325. So I just went in there, clicked on here, under edit, the width, change the width to 10.325. Oops. So that I'm looking at the PDF file to get that reference, and this is important while I'm showing you in this particular video, because it's a common and it happens intermittently. I do not know which files it happens with. And you can see the other file I saved the same way, and it's the correct size. So you'll want to verify the sizes when you upload them. So once we do that, so I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I'm just doing that. And we're going to want to go ahead and prep the score lines. So as it is, when there's solid score lines like that, it just cuts it, because all the machine knows is to cut it. So what we need to do is click on the layers down here. Once that's selected, and you see on the right, see where it says cut? Right here under, I put floor box solid. Right here, I'm going to click on this. Oops. This. And I just kind of, what I did to highlight both is I clicked on that, and then hold and click on that, and those both are highlighted. So we need to change the line type to score. So once we have these highlighted, those two highlighted, let's go over here in the lower left hand corner. It says cut. We're going to click on it. We're going to hit this little drop down and say score, and hit apply. So now those two say score, so I'm just going to click off of it so it's not highlighted anymore. But it still needs to be, even though it's scored, you still have to attach it, because if we go to make it right now, and this is a common question I get, but if I went to go send it right now, and I'm going to just do that, the score lines are not going to be where they need to. See, there's no score lines showing, and you'll see on another mat that they'll show here. So we want to make sure that doesn't happen. So we're going to go ahead and go back to Canvas and highlight that, hit on layers again, and this whole group is highlighted by default. We're going to come down here in Actions and click Attach. So now when we go to make it, it's going to put the scores in the correct place. So that's doing it with the solid lines. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to delete this. I'm going to bring the one with the dashed lines in. So upload, say open uploaded images. And here's the other option you have, which are traditional die cutters. They just cut the score lines, and some people prefer that. So I'm just going to click on that, which is the dashed version. Insert, and again it's coming in too small. So the width is 10.325. I can forward through all this, but I think it's really important that people see this happen, because it's just part of, unfortunately, something we have to work through. And there, just a note too, for those who are like, well, what's wrong with your files? Interestingly enough, if I upload it from the computer, the same exact file I already uploaded, and put it into a project, this file, it'll come in at the same size, at the correct size, not at this little small size. So anyways, there's some really little glitch with the iOS app. So now we brought the other one in with just the dash lines, and you see they're just set to cut. So those will just cut those dash lines. So a lot of people prefer now just to do the solid score lines, so I showed you that first. And you see on the right hand side, I just attach the, you just have to highlight the group and click attach. I found just another little glitch. I attached them and it changed the color, but it attached them just fine. But I went to the desktop version and it changed the color of the box. It just looks like it's a little glitch with iOS, or just maybe my iPad at this point. So at this point, when you went to go to make it, you wouldn't need a score tool at all. You just use it'll just cut it out with the blade. So that's that. So we're going to go ahead and close these. This doesn't, it'll just cut and separate by mat just like it needs to. So if you want to use the complete file, so here's the complete. So we're going to go ahead and say open uploaded images. We're just going to choose the one, assuming you have a score tool that you want to use, or a score wheel. So let's go ahead and choose this one, which is a complete solid one with solid score lines, and insert. And we know it didn't size correctly because that's really teeny. If I click under edit, it's 2.89. So if we go back, it should be 10.325. So let's go ahead and just click in the width, make sure the lock's there, 10.325. This doesn't happen with all my files, it just happens this one, so it's good that I'm showing it to you. And so when you have a file that's a complete file, that's all grouped together, so what you need to do first is to ungroup it, because we need to do some things. We have to change the score lines. So in order to do that, under actions, click on ungroup. So now they're separated just like we did the individual files, but it's much easier to do one upload rather than several uploads. That's why the complete file's a good choice, especially on the iPad and iPhone, because it takes a little bit more work to name them and all that fun stuff. So again, we would just go into layers, highlight just the score lines, and then go ahead and click on edit, change them to score, hit apply, and then you can see they're scored, and then we could go ahead and highlight everything. And here's the other thing too, you can highlight each individual, so you could still ungroup more, highlight the group and hit attach just like we did before. Or if it's a group with two little things, because let's say you wanted to make the whole thing a little bit larger, you might want to go actions, ungroup, and attach them individually, which you can. And attach. So up here you see attached, and always to verify it, you just make sure when you do make it that you see the score lines on the mat. And there's a video to tell you how to resize, but I'll show you how to resize in another video within the iOS app. So that comes in handy when you want to resize things, or you have smaller paper. Let's just say you need 12 by 12, but if you separated these out, you may need you could use 8.5 by 11 or smaller. So that's where that comes in handy. So once you get everything attached and everything the way you want it, just make sure you save it. So I already saved this file. So, but if you see a little asterisk to the right there, that means that something's been changed, and I just moved this around to change it since the last save. So if you've done something significant, you'll want to save it. So when you initially save it, it's going to look like this. You can type in a name, and you can save it to the cloud, which I like to do because I also use laptops or other computers, or save to iPad. So some people might want to do that if they want to save it offline, so they're working somewhere without internet. So you have that option here. So I'm going to hit cancel because I already saved it, but I'm going to click on save one more time to get rid of that asterisk. And then saved Flourish gift box, it'll give you confirmation. And then we can move on to cutting the actual file by choosing make it down here. Let's go ahead and click on make it. And it'll fit on one 12 by 12. Or like I said, you can ungroup it and you can see how it went to individual mats if you had the smaller, like 8.5 by 11 or something like that. So at this point, this is where you would continue, make sure that the dashed or the score lines are correctly there, whether you use dashed or solid, and then you hit continue, and then of course Bluetooth, I don't have it on right now, and then you would continue to cut by mat and color. So that's it. I hope those that use iPads and iPhones find this helpful and useful. If you did like this video or you found it helpful, please give us a little thumbs up below there, and or subscribe to our channel.